Hey. So, welcome to the very first Q&A session on this channel. Well, I asked you to give me some questions so I can answer them, and I was hoping I would get like 10 or 20 questions because I never did this before. It was an experiment and I didn't know what to expect. Now we have 115 questions. What are you guys doing? So we will go through all of them. I don't know, but I will try my best, and otherwise we'll have the rest of the questions for another time. Thank you very much for everyone who sent in their questions, and this is the very first one. I haven't read them before, so this will be as spontaneous as possible. Would it be possible to do a room tour showing off your media collection and other things we don't normally see in your videos? Oh, so you mean like the movies in the background and the music collection? Yes, that would be possible. Not right now, but I'll keep that in mind. A very good suggestion. What is your favorite Agnetha English solo album, and do you have a favorite song of hers? Would be the final 3 albums in English. I Stand Alone, My Coloring Book, and A. And to name 2 of my favorite songs of Agnetha's English songs would be Maybe It Was Magic and I Was a Flower. The Frida fans wrote, "Hello Bobby's brother, what's the first ABBA song you remember hearing and how old were you at the time?" Oh, that's a very good question. The first ABBA song you remember hearing. I can give you the feeling I had before I reveal the name of the song. And that feeling was, I was listening to this song and the feeling was a pure ecstasy of joy. Such a thrill to listen to that song, the sound, the composition, the vocals, how it started, like that glissando of a piano rolling off, the song kicking in with the chorus. That song was Dancing Queen. That's the song I remember hearing for the first time. It might not have been the very first song I ever heard of ABBA, but it's the one I remember. And I was probably 11 years old. Can you do a video on the filming locations for the Under Attack video? Yes, that's a very good suggestion. It was filmed in a warehouse in the southern part of Stockholm. However, they reconstructed the whole area, and the wonderful guy from the Ruffum website was there many years ago and put some photos of the locations, took some photos of the location, but I'm not quite sure if the warehouse itself still exists. It's possible that it was demolished and that there are other buildings there, but we have to check it out. But in case it's not there anymore, we are very happy and very lucky that Raphael from Ruffum.com was there many years ago. I live in the Midwestern United States. Is there any way I could get something autographed by ABBA? I have been a fan since 1978. Wow. Yes, there is a way. So you either can travel to Stockholm to Mono Music and, if you're lucky, have the chance to meet Benny there. However, it would be probably more convenient if you're in the United States and in any way to send something to Mono Music. Just Google the address. But I also would like people to let us know if I cannot answer something 100%, or if anyone has more suggestions. Please feel free to let us know in the comments below. And in this case, I'm not quite sure how it worked out, but I do know that some people did send in something to the Mono Music Studios and asking for autographs, probably with an envelope with to return back the item, or whatever you want to have signed. And mostly it's Benny, Björn and Frida who you will receive a signature back from. Sometimes Agnetha, maybe. Not any longer, but I think in the last few years she did it again sometimes. So that's probably the best way to get something autographed by ABBA. Send it to Mono Music. Not really a question, but what are your thoughts on using AI to perpetuate ABBA? For instance, dubbing Agnetha and Frida's voices into some of Benny and Björn's music after the breakup, or using Agnetha and Anni-Frid's voice on some of the Josephine Nilsson songs or other adaptations. That's a very good question. Those examples that you have given here are actually what has been on my mind for quite some time. I'm very surprised that we didn't get artificial, intelligent, dubbed songs yet. It's like ABBA songs that could have been. I'm not aware of any such songs. So it's not really a question, but what are your thoughts on using AI to? Well, it can be interesting. Let me put it this way: it can be interesting just to have something. Otherwise, it's in our imagination, and in the case of using AI for it, we just have something for it. I'm not really listening to AI created songs, but there can be quite interesting efforts, and there are already quite some interesting efforts. But I don't think they have done something like that with ABBA yet, and maybe Björn is the reason. And by the way, if I should answer some of the questions very quickly, or it depends on the question itself sometimes, then it can be like yes or no or this and that. Or if I should skip some questions for time reasons or I didn't see it, it's never personal. If my answer to your question is going to be shorter than another one, it's never personal, of course. It's just I'm just going through the questions, and I'm very grateful that we have so many. So what are your top 3 ABBA songs tracks? Tough one. Are your favorites the same now as they were originally, or have your favorites changed over the years? Maybe the Voyage album tweaked some of the songs in my list. My top 3 ABBA songs would be The Day Before You Came, Dancing Queen, and The Winner Takes It All. But I also would like to mention One Man, One Woman and Take a Chance on Me. A question already asked previous show: why is there still not available a full-length live film of the 1977 tour? I cannot answer that because I don't know why they haven't revisited the footage. Probably because they don't have the idea for doing that, or they don't have the interest in doing that. I don't know. Why is it that all 4 members of ABBA have inexplicably always had a low opinion of the wonderful, magnificent, incomparable Angeleyes? Is it so? I don't know. I was under the impression that Björn and especially Benny are quite fond of Angeleyes, but I would have to check back about that in the books we have from Carl Magnus Palm. I think I remember that he quoted Benny by saying that it turned out well. In any case, they did exchange one of the songs they recorded for Voulez-Vous in favor of Angeleyes. So, yeah. But they never performed Angeleyes anywhere, and we don't have a music video. Maybe that's what you mean by low opinion? I'm not quite sure. I didn't have the impression that they had a low opinion on Angeleyes. Do you think Benny Andersson could or would please ever release an album of his own harpsichord music? So, I'm not quite sure what you mean by harpsichord music. But Benny did release a piano album in 2017. Maybe that's what you're referring to. I'm not sure. Do you know if all 4 members of ABBA still consider a failure the highly undervalued and highly underrated Summer Night City? I think they've grown fond of it, but I could be wrong. Cristiano wrote, do you happen to know if any other ABBA member, apart from Agnetha, is aware of your channel? And if yes, are you aware if they have expressed any comments on your contribution? No, I don't know if they are aware of the channel. When I was at the ABBA Voyage show for the world premiere, I was in front row, and I told that story before on the channel. All 4 members of ABBA were on stage, the real ones, on that night. Wow, and I saw them, and I was looking at them, and I was looking in this direction, and then I saw that Frida was trying to make eye contact with me, and then as soon as I turned my attention to her, she was waving at me a little extra longer. That was my impression. I could be wrong, I wasn't the only one in the room, but that the timing and the situation felt like she was waiting for me, and then she connected with me. Maybe she recognized me in that moment, standing there in front row. As I said, I could be wrong, I'm not sure, but that was such a moment. I'd like to believe that's how it is, but I'd like to not only believe it, it felt like that. So maybe Frida is aware of it, but Agnetha is aware of the channel and likes it, which is crazy to think. Do you love the Mamma Mia movies? I really enjoy Mamma Mia the movie, the first one. I think it's a terrific film. It has an incredible pacing, timing, dialogue, atmosphere, songs, flow. It is a grandiose film. I'm not so sure about the sequel, but I would have to revisit it a few more times maybe. There have been many discussions among the fans about the sound quality of the several re-releases. Many fans hope for a careful mastering in the future, using the original master tapes for each album. Do we know if Benny and Björn own them? The master tapes? I would think that the master tapes are stored away in the archive with Universal. I'm not sure. I don't think Benny and Björn owns them, like physically. No, I don't think so. If that's what you mean. Hi Bobby, first question, have you ever met any ABBA member in person? Yes. If not, there is a possibility to meet Benny and ask for an autograph at his studio. I know that because I luckily met him this week. Wow, congratulations. That's amazing. Great that you met Benny just this week. Super cool. Second one, what is your favorite post ABBA musical project, album, song, or other musical piece created by one of ABBA members? That's a lot of pre or post. So when I think about the pre-period, before ABBA, I would think about Björn and Benny's Lycka album. I really enjoy that one. I like Agnetha's Swedish solo stuff, especially the third, fourth album, Elva Kvinnor album, Frida Ensam, although those two are mid-ABBA, not pre-ABBA. But I really have to mention Frida's debut album, simply called Frida, from 1971. It's magnificent. That is one of my favorite pieces of from before ABBA. Also, when I think about Benny's band, the Hepstars, I have to mention their album from 1967, or was it, I think 68. It's been a long, long time. Listen to that album. It's a forgotten jewel, in my opinion. It's been a long, long time. From 1968. Great album by the Hepstars. Amazing album. Like Baroque pop at its finest. Little bit of Pet Sounds, little bit of Sgt. Pepper in Hepstars style. That's what I feel when I listen to it. And a great album. And after ABBA, I would just like to single out the Christina album from 1996, Christina från Duvemåla. That's a musical pinnacle of Benny Andersson, because he wrote the entire music. 3 CDs, wow. Such a variety in that album. Those are some of my favorites. Yeah, yeah. Hi Bobby, what is your favorite Agnetha solo album in Swedish language? Very great, because we had the English ones already. Big hug from San Luis, Argentina. Great, thank you and greetings back to Argentina. Swedish solo album from Agnetha. Favorite has to be the children's album. No, uh, Elva Kvinnor i ett hus from 1975. Jan Parrish asks, "Hi Bobby, apart from ABBA, which other bands do you like? Thank you." Oh, that's a very nice question. Also, I have to be sorry for not giving all your names, because YouTube is very strange. I have to click on the profile to see the real name or the other name that and some of the names are the nicknames are a little bit hard to read. So whenever I see like the Frida fan, or here in this case I think it's Jan Parrish. Yeah, I can name your names, but again, it's never personal if I don't mention the names. Other bands that I do like are the Beach Boys. But before I go to this list, I have to say that there is never any other musical artist that I am connected as much as I'm with ABBA. But then you do discover other music, other musicians, groups, artists for good measurement and good pleasure. And my favorite band, if we don't talk about ABBA, I would say my favorite band is the Beach Boys. Definitely the Beach Boys. Just for their story, the brotherhood, three brothers, the Wilson brothers, Brian Wilson, and the variety of musical styles that the Beach Boys have is incredible. So most people, when I mention Beach Boys, do think of their surf music, the early stuff, the 60s music, which is terrific itself already. But then you go on into the 70s, wow, they have treasures of albums in that decade, which are often overlooked. A tremendous artistry from start to the end. To their reunion album in 2012, That's Why God Made the Radio, a terrific final album from the Beach Boys. So the Beach Boys are my favorite band apart from ABBA. And which other bands do you like? Also, I love Simon and Garfunkel, and I also really go deep into the solo stuff. Paul Simon, Art Garfunkel. Paul Simon is one of my favorite songwriters. Björn and Benny are, and then we have Brian Wilson, Paul Simon. I like the Beatles, but I really like their solo material as well, like Paul McCartney's solo, George Harrison, Paul McCartney and Wings, which is another band. And if we talk about artists, solo artists, not bands, from time to time I listen to Michael Jackson, to David Bowie. Another group I like to listen to every now and then is Boney M. Their album Night Flight to Venus from 1978 is one of my favorite pop albums. I think it's one of the finest pop albums, Night Flight to Venus. I also like music from Ravi Shankar from India. I like Wendy Carlos, the electronic pioneer. And sometimes I listen to classical music as well. For instance, to someone who is not... Often you get names like Beethoven, which is terrific, but then I would say Tchaikovsky is very, very, very interesting to listen to. My question: why is your channel named after a song from ABBA, Me and Bobby's brother? Are you connected with the group in some personal way? Thanks for your answer. I love your enthusiasm towards ABBA, my beloved Heartbreakers since the 70s. Oh, Heartbreakers. Why is your channel named after a song from ABBA? The question has to be, why did ABBA name their song after my channel? I have to think about that. Are you connected with a group in some personal way? Yes, Benny is my son. No, I guess you mean in like a family way. I'm not connected with a group in any way. I'm not related to the group members.
How sad.
Yeah, it's sad to say that.
Alexio Verdo wrote, "Oh, that's fascinating to get to know you even better, our friend. As far as I'm aware, and if my memory serves me well, you've met both Benny and Björn in past times. How did you like them? Which other member would you feel more comfortable to interview in case you were given this opportunity?" Yes, I met Benny and Björn individually. I met Björn a few times, but I met Benny quite often. As a fan. And how did you like them? Meeting Björn and Benny. I can highly recommend it. Meeting them. Which ABBA member would you feel more comfortable to interview in case you were given this opportunity? I'll take any of them. I think I'll be comfortable. Bobby, hi, my question is, do you think you will visit ABBA Voyage again to see the new songs? Yes. Do you think the show will ever get a Blu-ray release with extras, and where do you think the show will move to? I don't think there will be a Blu-ray release with extras. The show will move to America, Europe, or Asia, or Australia. Thank you. You have given the answers. Those are the countries that were in discussion before. I would think that it it is already in Europe, kind of, in London at least. Which is close to Europe, and America or Asia would be probably where it might be heading next, or heading simultaneously. It doesn't mean that it has to close in London. Do you think that the cooperation between Oceanbird and ABBA Voyage might lead to an ABBA Voyage world tour from port to port? Have you picked up any such indication? Yeah, I picked up that indication indeed from that interview from Ludwig and Benny. I think the idea was, at least originally, to have the ship going from port to port and transporting the arena or something like that. So could it lead to that? Maybe. It's an interesting cooperation. Hi, Bobby's brother. Do you personally think ABBA will ever officially release their recordings of Just Like That? Thanks in advance, Frankie. Greetings to Frankie. Someone replied, no, they won't. And I say, yes, they will. But questions like this, like, do you think this will be released? Do you think this is, or why do you think this hasn't happened yet? I can only give you my opinion, of course. It's not like I do have some inside knowledge about if something will get a release or not. So don't take it with a grain of salt. It's just my own reflection of things, my estimation, a little bit of hope maybe. So in that case, I will say yes, Just Like That will see the light of day someday, in my opinion. I'd love to see you ranking the studio albums from your least favorite up to your number one. I can give you my number one for the moment, and that's The Visitors. Do you think the 2 unreleased songs from The Voyage will ever be released? Yes, I'm positive about that. Hi, my questions are, what do you think would be on a Voyage Deluxe Edition? I don't think there will be anything on a Deluxe Edition for Voyage. I don't think it will happen, at least not anytime soon. Why has there never been an Agnetha DVD? And lastly, when is Benny going to give us Just Like That? So we had that question. Yeah, we never had a DVD from Agnetha, really, like the Frida the DVD, which is very unfortunate. And I don't think it will... Well, the question is, why has there never been? I'm not sure. Maybe it has to do with Agnetha not being interested in giving her okay. Maybe someone never had the idea, or it never came up in discussions for solo releases. It's very seldom that we get solo releases from the ladies, like archival releases or re-releases of their solo albums. It's not too often, and it's unfortunate we didn't have a Agnetha DVD. There's so much great stuff. But what we did get in recent years is on the Swedish SVT player. We did get some shows, the complete A for Agnetha special from 1985 and the complete The Heat Is On special from 1983. So those are some treasures that the SVT website shared, and I think it has been uploaded on YouTube as well. Try to find it there, at least. BB, first of all, I have to say just thank you for doing these incredibly meaningful videos with such dignity towards ABBA. What you're doing here with this channel is priceless, as we all be able to get together as fans and know valuable information through your thoughtful videos. So thanks a lot. Thank you very much for watching my videos. So my question for you is, do you think we'll be fortunate enough to be able to listen to ABBA's 2 unreleased outtakes from the Voyage sessions? Again, yes, I think they will be released at some point. Well, what do you think the secret ABBA project Björn is currently working on is? He's mentioned it in just one recent interview, and it's clearly something additional to his AI-powered musical. Would love to hear your ideas, BB. Yeah, this comes from a Starlander group. Oh, great. So, the secret ABBA project Björn is currently working on. He mentioned in one interview, yeah. And I have no idea. I could only guess. Maybe it has something to do with the Ocean Bird theme, with ABBA Voyage, like updating it. But I'm not sure. It's a secret. I can't tell you. No, I don't know. I really don't know. But let me think about it. And it would be interesting if others would. You are all welcome and invited to discuss that topic. Björn's secret ABBA project. What could it be? Hi, Bobby's brother. I know you have spoken a lot about the ABBA archives in past videos. What are your thoughts on it? On the archives? Do you think it is likely we will ever see anything else new from the archives, and particularly the 2 Voyage songs? Benny called Saw the Good Stuff. Yeah, so thanks and love your channel. Thank you very much. Deanderecho, I think is the name, Deanderecho. Benny called the 2 Voyage outtakes Saw the Good Stuff, and I think when Benny says it's Saw the Good Stuff, I think that means that the quality is really good. So I don't doubt the quality of the 2 Voyage outtakes, the 2 additional songs. And as I said, I'm positive that we will see the light of day of those. And something else from the archives. Yeah, I'm positive about that. ABBA Notion official wrote, "Hello Bobby's brother, would you be interested in collaborating on a very special ABBA project I am planning over the next few months?" Wow. Also, thank you for the amazing videos. Well, thank you for the amazing Instagram channel. I really enjoy that, the ABBA Notion Instagram channel. And yes, I'd be very much interested in collaborating. So just let me know about that in an email. You can write an email to me. You'll find it on the YouTube channel, or just send me an Instagram personal message. Thank you very much for asking me. Of the solo careers of Frida and Agnetha, what are your favorite solo songs from either one? Can be pre or post ABBA. My favorite of Frida is, of course, There's Something Going On. My favorite of Agnetha is Can't Shake Loose, both written by Russ Ballard. Yeah, great choices. And about the English stuff, especially from Frida, I would agree that I Know There's Something Going On is masterful. But I really have to mention from her period before ABBA, I'd like to mention the song Barn and Sover from her debut album, the closing track. I'd like to mention her Swedish cover of Send in the Clowns, the closing track of Frida Ensam. Wow, what a recording. It's magnificent. if you're not familiar with it, what are you doing? Listen to the Frida album from 1975, and to that closing song. Wow, those come to my mind as favorites. Her version of Björn and Benny's Lycka is great. And from Agnetha, I already mentioned Maybe It Was Magic. So the next question is, Dear Bobby, I think that many questions about ABBA's music has been answered by you in your own videos. I mean, about your musical preferences, etc. So more personal questions would come to mind about the man behind the videos, though I totally understand you protecting your privacy. Nevertheless, I'd be interested to know how much time you spend in average on putting a video together, and I'd be really curious to know what is your education or profession, asking myself sometimes if you are more a mathematical, natural science type of thinker or more into language, music, history, etc. Many YouTubers about ABBA are not as analytic, calm and collected, but rather sometimes a bit overexcited. So I often wondered how come you are as passionately into ABBA, but at the same time staying very cool and articulate on that matter. By the way, that makes watching your videos so pleasant. It never becomes hectic or too emotional in style. I consider myself a long-time fan of ABBA since very early 1978 as well, like the other one, but never digged so deep into their music and side projects, so I really enjoy the videos. My deepest respect for the time effort to collect everything for us fans for free. Very much appreciated. I would never miss one of your videos, because in all of them is a small revelation for me to find, where I think I never heard of that, or I never noticed, or how did he find out that one? Keep on going. Oh, thank you so much for that very thoughtful comment and the very positive feedback. Tres BN, I'm familiar with your name. I hope I pronounce it correctly. Thank you very much. And now I'm just looking for the questions. I'd be interested in how much time you spend in average on putting a video together. So that is very, very time consuming. So there are videos that I'm literally sitting here for 12 hours non-stop working on them, and then forgot to eat or eat quickly and go and continue, and then the next day I will continue to work on that video. Some videos are very time consuming. The most time consuming aspect would be writing the text, doing the research, and the editing can be very time consuming as well, even like tricky, just small things that no one notices in the end, but I work on them for like an hour, and I enjoy it very much. So that's how time consuming it can be. And I'd be really curious to know what's your education or profession. So I was working with elderly people, and I also did studies in art history and film science, and in English language as well. And there's a third question about you wondering, would I be a more mathematical, natural science type, or more into language, music, history? It's interesting. I wouldn't know. Maybe a little bit of both. Like, very often I think quite mathematical. I tend to think rhythmically. Maybe that also flows into the art of editing. So like when I do editing, I do that instinctively. So yeah, I hope I got to all of your questions. Thank you very much again for this very, very nice comment. Michael Rochester wrote, I hate to get into hypothesis, but do you think that if ABBA regularly toured in the United States starting in 1974, do you think that they would have been huge, or would they have just been the same in popularity? By the way, despite what negative music historians have said, ABBA had 15 top 40 hits in the United States, which is very impressive. Yeah, despite the fact English was their second language. Not only that, but despite the fact that they were this band from Sweden. It's very impressive. And hypothetical questions are, yeah, someone replied to this already and said if they toured more often, they probably wouldn't have been able to create as much music as they did. That's a very good point. Björn and Benny have repeatedly said they worked long hours to create the strongest songs possible, and they couldn't compose when touring. Yeah, one would have killed the other in some way. That's a very good point. And otherwise, I would have said, depending on their back catalogue back in the day, and if they would have continued to tour the States more often, like every year, yeah, the creativity would have suffered a lot from that. I'm in that way. I'm very glad they didn't do it, to be honest. And after all, nowadays ABBA did arrive in the United States to some extent, anyway, through Mamma Mia musical, through the Voyage album, which was the most successful one there. Yeah, and then it depends on the tours themselves, I would guess. Would they have been spectacular enough? I've never been on an original ABBA concert tour, for obvious reasons. I wasn't born, so I would guess they were spectacular. Yeah, a good hypothetical question. Is it true that ABBA's album Voyage is available in Dolby Atmos? Yes. And when will the other ABBA albums to be released in Dolby Atmos? I think the plan was to release ABBA Gold in Dolby Atmos. I read that all albums were to be worked on into Dolby Atmos format. So what Dolby Atmos is, it means that the original master tapes are going to be mixed into the Dolby Atmos, into several speakers surrounding you, basically into surround sound, but also like speakers above you. That's in simple words Dolby Atmos, and they are working on it. So far we got the songs Waterloo, Gimme Gimme Gimme, A Man After Midnight, and Lay All Your Love on Me in Dolby Atmos, and the Voyage album, and I discussed those on the channel in detail. And the very nice thing about the Dolby Atmos mixes is that it gives us the technical opportunity to split the tracks, so we can listen to isolated vocals, isolated backing tracks, and that is really cool. It gives us, in my opinion, it doesn't replace the original stereo mixes, and that's not the point, I guess. But it gives us a new understanding of the layers. In those Dolby Atmos mixes, I could hear some elements and instruments and backing vocals that I've never heard before in that way, in such a way. So that's the very nice thing about Dolby Atmos. And I'm not sure what's the current situation about releasing them. And also, I would like to make clear that I'm not a fan of remixing old stereo mixes into new stereo mixes. So that's not what ABBA is doing with this. Definitely not. This is something very different. It's for me, and in my estimation, it's an alternate experience, the Dolby Atmos format. So yeah. What order did you first listen to all the albums? Oh, many fans discover ABBA through their hits on the Gold album, then branch out to try the other albums. Was your ABBA journey similar, or were you exposed to the group's lesser-known songs early on? Yeah, both. It was similar, but I was exposed to their lesser-known songs as well. So my introduction was also a compilation album, but it was the definitive collection. And wow, what a great compilation that was. But I do remember that the later songs, starting from Super Trooper, The Visitors, 1982, didn't grab me at first. So I didn't skip them, but I was drawn much quicker into the songs before Super Trooper. I do remember that. And by now, of course, the later songs, the later albums, Super Trooper, Visitors, and now Voyage, that last trilogy, I would like to call it, are some of my big favorites. So it took some time to get to be to connect with songs like The Day Before You Came or even Lay All Your Love on Me. I do remember that took some time in the beginning, but then very quickly I said, after listening to this compilation and knowing all the songs, I said, I need more albums by that band. I need more ABBA albums. And the first two studio albums I got were Waterloo and Super Trooper. Two examples of the complete opposite of the spectrum, basically. The second album and the second to last by that point in time. And boy, was it great to discover those, how do you call it, lesser known songs. Yeah, like Sitting in the Palm Tree, My Mama Said, Dance While the Music Still Goes On, What About Livingston, or from the Super Trooper album, songs like Me and I, The Piper. Like discovering those songs that are lesser known, that were not on that compilation, that were not singles, that no one knew. I was so proud of those early, of those lesser known songs, that I showed it to my family and said, listen to this. Wow. That and they said, yeah, they are great, you know. So it was a beautiful introduction into the vast array of ABBA's music. If you could have a real conversation with Frida and Agnetha together, what would you like to discuss with them? Oh, together. Frida and Agnetha together. That's very seldom, generally speaking. And together, I would like to talk to them about whatever they would like to talk about, of course, but also really about the Voyage project, about filming the stuff for the concert for like 5 weeks, like how their days were and where they were staying and stuff like that. I would be very interested to know about the daily stuff from that Voyage period, which took several years, even the album, to make. And certainly I would like to discuss their solo material as well with them. Even like if I would be interviewing Frida and Agnetha together, I would like to ask them if they are what albums from the other ones they are aware of, which solo albums from Agnetha has Frida listened to, and the other way around. Stuff like that, maybe. About, yeah, I would really be interested in their input into the studio work with ABBA back in the day, even also now with Voyage, also maybe in comparison. And again, like to talk about their solo works, because they did tremendous stuff solo. Agnetha as well as Frida. And yeah, it would be also very interesting to ask them about in context with Voyage, like about the future, about more music with ABBA. Now that I have Frida and Agnetha with me in an interview, not with Björn and Benny with them, let us know, what do you think about it? Stuff like that, probably. But That would be something, wouldn't it?